This is Retire Colorado with Alicia and Josh Lewis. I'm Bruce Steinbrock. Reach out to the Lehman Lewis team, 970-446-1234, or check them out on the web at lehmanlewis.com. They've spent a lot of time at the website in the last year, and folks, you will absolutely love it. So user-friendly, so beautiful to look at, and you get to know more about the team. Again, that's lehmanlewis.com on the web. We're going to have a little fun and play some trivia with Alicia and Josh. Now, Alicia, we call Josh the guru of minutia for a real reason. I mean, he's like, don't you call him Google before Google?
Oh, that's what the kids, they actually, there was this one time, I got to tell you this real quick. So we were driving. Josh, one of the kids asked some ridiculous question, which I think Josh remembers exactly the question.
It was about pasteurization of milk.
Oh, Louis Pasteur.
The fact that you remember what...
Yeah, that's right. Dr. Louis Pasteur.
Yeah.
The namesake there.
Yeah, see? So one of the kids asked some random question, and he knew it like this. Like, he just knew the answer immediately. And I was like, how do you even know that? Like, that is so wild. Like, where do you keep that in your brilliant brain? And Ezra, he pops his head, because we're driving, and he pops his head in the front seat, and he goes, "Mom, don't you know you married Google?" And I was like, "Oh boy, yeah, I guess that's true."
They're doing homework in the back seat, and instead of Googling, they just asked Dad.
Yeah,
right. That's right.
Hilarious.
So you remember
So
it was
ridiculous.
about pasteurization. How do you? That is funny.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things.
The fact that he remembers the conversation too. I mean, he just remembers everything.
Eidetic memory, Josh?
It's the best.
Probably not, but there's a lot of stuff up there.
Okay.
You got to push some things out to keep the new stuff in.
Well, let's see if you can push through inflation trivia here on the show today. So we're going to put Alicia and Josh to the test and have a little fun. And we'll relate it, obviously, back to retirement income planning, folks, because inflation is one of those things that's going to attack that nest egg. If you don't plan for it in your retirement income plan, it can cause you issues down the road. So here is inflation trivia on Retire Colorado. What was the average cost of a gallon of gas in 1960? Was it A, 25 cents, B, 60 cents, C, $1, or D, 10 cents?
1960.
I'm
I'd say
not
A or B.
Yeah, I'm going to say 25 cents.
Ooh.
Are you good with that, Alicia?
He's saying 25 cents. I'll say 25 cents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Studio audience approves. There you go, folks. 25 cents, that's right.
Survey says. Okay.
All right.
By 2000, the average cost of a gallon of gas in the U.S. was $1.26, so it went up by $1. And by 2018, it was nearly $3 a gallon. Now, we've seen it bounce all over the place. COVID, obviously there was less production, but then there was less demand. And so then the price, it's all kinds of things that are cyclical. But, gasoline is one of those things that does rule our lives a lot because we like to drive, but also goods and services are hauled using some type of gasoline. And so gas does affect our daily lives. So here's question 2.
Yep, it's quite the phenomenon there.
Very much so. All right, question 2. The average cost. Now, you guys you've only experienced this yourselves. The boys will be there before we know it. The average cost of college tuition in the United States for an undergraduate degree has blank over the last 58 years. This is according to the National Center for Education Statistics. Has it A, doubled, B, quadrupled, C, stayed the same, or D, tripled?
Ooh, I'd say tripled.
It's definitely not C.
It hasn't stayed the same. I would say tripled.
Yeah, I concur. We'll go with, I guess that's D, tripled.
Yeah, it has tripled. Alicia gets the circle, gets the square.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So how about this? In 1963, the cost for an undergraduate college degree was $4,336. In 2020, it was $13,777. And it's gone nothing. And if you go to a private school, it is unbelievable. I mean, you're talking $60,000 to $100,000, somewhere in that range per year. So a 4-year degree is going to cost you over $250,000 at some institutions. That's crazy.
I mean, I feel like even these numbers I feel like are pretty low, just based on helping our clients pay for college for their kids.
Right.
I am still shocked. Anytime I'm just like, whoa, that's a lot of money.
It's
Honestly,
a lot of
we
money.
still have some clients who are in, their 50s that are still whittling away on college debt. And I get sometimes the interest rate is pretty attractive and they're not, wildly incentivized to pay it off. But man, you think about going to college, you get a degree, some professional whatever, and then you're paying on that for, 20 years afterwards.
Yeah.
That just seems insane to me.
Nope. I worked in college and paid it off as I went. I will say this. I got my first credit card in 1988. I had to charge because I didn't have it. I walked up to the payment table to pay my final semester of tuition, and I'm like, I don't have it. And I saw you can pay with a credit card. I'm like, thank you. Boom. I paid with the credit card, and by May, I paid it off. As it was, it was on my mind. There's no freaking way I'm carrying debt out of college. So it was, but I actually charged my last semester of tuition. That didn't feel great.
You got it paid off.
I did.
Good job.
Got it paid off. All right. Here's the next question. Back in 1974, President Gerald Ford declared inflation as public enemy number one. What was the inflation rate that year that got him all riled up? Was it A, 3%, B, 12%, C, 1%, or D, 20%?
Wasn't 20 yet.
Yeah,
it was 12.
Too high. 12 sounds right. 3's too low. 12 is just right.
Studio audience says yes. 74, Gerald Ford declared inflation as public enemy number one. It rose from 10% to 12%. Unemployment at the time was a higher rate as well. So that was, of course, then we crossed over to the Jimmy Carter era and it went up. And then Ronald Reagan came back in and started cooling it off. By 81, had it pretty under control at that point in time. All right, question 4. You should hoard cash to ensure inflation cannot harm you. True or false?
Oh, boy. False.
False.
So, I know. It's almost laughable.
It just makes me.
That's what we call safely losing, right?
That's right. And it is important to invest and not keep too much money in cash. And Josh, this is where, again, investing is part. It can't be all of our retirement plan, but we do still need money growing, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And you got to look at it long-term growth, right? Looking at, and we talk about this a lot, but kind of that bucket planning strategy of having assets that we're using for income or near-term income. We've got kind of that intermediate bucket, but we want that long-term bucket as a hedge against inflation that's able to see some volatility of the market and show us kind of those higher returns than what we'd see in, bonds, money markets, things like that. Because again, 20, 30 years worth of retirement, you could realistically see your expenses double over that period of time, just purely based on inflation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, question 5. We're playing a little inflation trivia with Alicia and Josh here on Retire Colorado. You can reach out to the team, 970-446-1234, and talk about how inflation could attack your retirement income plan if you have no plan, because you do have to adjust for it. Here's question 5. Which is not a type of inflation? Is it A, creeping, B, hyperinflation, C, lulling, or D, walking?
Whoa, what's lulling?
It's lulling is the answer.
Lulling right? Inflation.
We wish inflation would lull.
That's correct. Lulling
is transitory.
Lulling inflation.
Yeah, only according to Jerome Powell.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's
lolling.
not up. It's just lolling.
It's lolling. Yeah, that's a good call. Creeping
That's a
is
good
low or
one.
moderate inflation with prices rising less than 3%. Hyper is extraordinary inflation spiraling out of control, maybe up to 1,000% a year. Walking, or sometimes known as trotting, is when prices rise moderately, but the annual inflation rate stays in the single digits. There is no lulling unless there is. All right. Here is a
Oh.
bonus question. You're 5 for 5. Let's see if we can get the bonus today on Retire Colorado. Adjusting for inflation. Now, I will tell you that these stats are as of the late 20 teens. So it's around 2020. Adjusting for inflation, what's the highest grossing movie of all time? Is it A, The Wizard of Oz, B, Titanic, C, Gone with the Wind, or D, Jaws?
I mean, I would say Titanic, but let's see what Josh says.
Well, you got to think about like the time frame though too, right? Because if you get, like Gone with the Wind, for example, came out long before Titanic. So then you get that an exponential multiple on that, right? Over a much longer period of time, because if you looked at like, say, Jurassic Park, but it had that same sort of runway as Gone with the Wind, Jurassic Park would probably win. So I'm going to say probably Gone with the Wind.
I'm going to just piggyback on him because I would say Titanic if it were my, if I were all
Well, if I
alone
get
on
this right, I'll be king of the world.
There you are. You are king of inflation. So there you go.
Yeah.
King of inflation knowledge.
Ta-da.
You're not king of inflation.
Oh, right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Gone with the Wind, it adjusted for inflation in the late 20-teens. The top 5 highest grossing movies: Gone with the Wind, $1.6 billion; Star Wars, $1.4 billion; The Sound of Music, The Hills Are Alive with The Sound of Music, $1.13 billion; E.T. Phone Home, $1.12 billion; and Charlton Heston and the 10 Commandments, $1 billion when adjusted for inflation. So God still plays, right?
Oh, yeah.
Amen, brother.
and I have 10 commandments for you to follow. Oh, well, folks, that's going to wind down today's show. We hope you enjoyed a little inflation trivia and having some fun with Alicia, Josh, and the team. You can do the same because, again, this is what it is to work with Lehman Lewis. It's working on your retirement income plan for the rest of your life. Reach out today, 970-446-1234. You can also go to the web at lehmanlewis.com and check them out on the web. Alicia and Josh, that's going to wrap up today's show. Always great to spend the time with you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too.
Thanks. You
Have
as
a
well.
good one.